In May 2022, inside the Mercedes-Benz Museum in Germany, a very small, very private auction took place. No flashy stage, no live stream, just a handful of invited billionaires and one of the rarest cars on Earth. When the bidding stopped, the final price was about 135 million euros, around $143 million, for a single car. That sale made this machine the most expensive car ever sold in history. The car's name? The Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR Uhlenhaut Coupé. This is its story. The birth of a legend. To understand why this car is worth $143 million, you have to go back to the 1950s when Mercedes was dominating motorsport. In 1954 and 1955, Mercedes campaigned the W196 Grand Prix car in Formula One and its sports car sibling, the 300 SLR, in endurance racing. These were the famous Silver Arrows, lightweight, brutal, and extremely fast. The 300 SLR was based on the F1 car's technology, a 3-liter straight-8 engine, magnesium alloy body, top speed well over 180 miles per hour, 290 kilometers per hour. Insane for the time. With this car, Mercedes won big races like the Mille Miglia and the Targa Florio. But the car that sold for $143 million is not just any 300 SLR. It's something even more special, a hardtop coupe version built for the road. Only 2 ever made. In 1955, Mercedes engineer Rudolf Uhlenhaut oversaw the creation of 2 special 300 SLR coupés. Instead of an open racing cockpit, they had a sleek, closed roof with gull-wing doors, like the famous 300 SL road car, but far more extreme underneath. These cars were originally intended for racing in long-distance events, where a closed cabin would be better for high speeds and driver comfort. But then everything changed. In June 1955, at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, a horrific crash involving a Mercedes 300 SLR race car killed more than 80 spectators. The tragedy shocked the world. By the end of that year, Mercedes decided to withdraw from top-level racing. The 300 SLR coupés never competed. Instead, they became company cars for top Mercedes engineers. One of them, famously, was used as a personal car by Rudolf Uhlenhaut himself. He supposedly drove it on the Autobahn, using a full race engine on public roads, sometimes arriving at meetings a bit too fast. Because only 2 300 SLR Uhlenhaut coupés were ever built, they were never offered for sale to private customers. For decades, both remained in Mercedes' own collection. Collectors could dream about them, but they could never buy them. Why it's so special? Think about what this car represents. It's a one-off prototype era, a road-legal body on a full race car chassis. It's linked to one of the most dominant motorsport programs in history. It has gull-wing doors, which alone make Mercedes icons. It's one of only 2 ever made, and for almost 70 years, neither was for sale. On top of that, you have the design, long hood, tiny cockpit, muscular fenders, pure 1950s racing beauty. The performance, for its time, it was basically a spaceship on wheels. And the story, created for racing, never raced, turned into a legend. So if you're a billionaire car collector and someone says, "Would you like to buy the most important Mercedes sports car that has never been sold before?" You know the answer. The secret auction. In 2022, Mercedes quietly decided to sell one of the 2 300 SLR coupés. The idea was to raise money for a global scholarship fund in education programs, while still keeping one example in the company collection. Instead of a big public auction, they did it by invitation only at the Mercedes-Benz Museum in Stuttgart. Only a very small number of ultra-rich collectors were allowed to bid. At the end of the night, the winning bid was about 135 million euros, which translates to roughly $143 million. That price destroyed the previous car auction record of around $48 million, a Ferrari 250 GTO, made the Uhlenhaut Coupé the most expensive car ever sold in history, put it in the same league as blue-chip art, like Picasso's and Da Vinci's, not just as a car. The buyer's name was not officially announced, but reports suggest it went to a very private, very wealthy collector in Europe or the Middle East. car or rolling artwork. At $143 million, the Uhlenhaut 300 SLR is not just a car. It's effectively treated like a one-of-a-kind sculpture, a centerpiece of motorsport history, and a financial asset that may grow in value over time. Think about it. You can't buy another one. There are only two, and Mercedes still owns the other. It's connected to the entire Silver Arrows mythology. It's a piece of company and racing history that will never repeat. For the buyer, the Uhlenhaut Coupé is like owning the crown jewel of all Mercedes road race cars, the automotive equivalent of a Rembrandt or a Da Vinci. Will they actually drive it? Maybe very rarely on a closed track. Most of the time, it will probably live in a climate-controlled private garage, shown to a few select guests and to the buyer's accountant and insurance agent. Why this sale matters. The $143 million Uhlenhaut Coupé sale shows how far the collectible car market has come. There was a time when old race cars were just junk. No one cared about prototypes. Even Ferraris could be bought for normal money. Now, the very top cars compete with fine art at auction, are bought by the same billionaires who buy paintings and rare watches, are stored like museum pieces, not just driven toys. The Uhlenhaut Coupé sits at the absolute top of that pyramid. It's a reminder of a dangerous, heroic era of racing, a symbol of German engineering and design, and now a $143 million benchmark for every future most expensive car headline. Will any car ever beat this record? Maybe, but it would probably have to be something equally mythical, a one-off Ferrari, a historically important Le Mans winner, or another factory prototype never released to the public. For now, the title belongs to a silver coupé born in the 1950s that spent decades hidden inside a company collection and then, quietly, became the most expensive car ever sold in a private room in Stuttgart.